I have had the good fortune of being intimately involved in probably 60 or 70 different businesses of different sizes all over the world. Certainly all for profit. But I've seen a lot, right? And while the Academy certainly has its distinctiveness, I see that from my faculty perch at HBS. I'm also on the board at Wake Forest. I see it there as well. At the end of the day, there are a whole host of similarities to high-performing organizations. And I think that's what gives me the comfort and the confidence to face the challenges and to be excited about the opportunities that we have before us at Washington College. The business model is certainly one that is challenging, right? We see technology changing virtually every aspect of our lives, certainly every corner of the economy and in turn the business world, driving productivity gains, disrupting the fundamental economics. Given the nature of what we do in the classroom at Washington College and in other liberal arts institutions, that sort of change is far more challenging, right? That productivity that can offset inflation and other aspects of an institution's financials isn't easily captured. So what do you do, right? And that's not code for let's create a lot of online courses at Washington College. That's not what we do. That's not what either one of us would have benefited from when we were here. But we need to find ways to be smart in the face of those productivity challenges and those cost pressures, given that so many families are finding the price of a private liberal arts education out of reach, or at least a real burden. What's understandable are families thinking about the price of an education like ours in a more discriminating way maybe than they ever have. I think that's ultimately good for us because that pushes us to understand and articulate our value proposition and improve it where we should, and to avoid doing things that don't necessarily add to the student experience. But that said, the idea that a liberal arts education is no longer relevant in this economy, you just have to open up a newspaper, and I don't care what side of the political divide you're on, and you see at times the utter absence of clear, unmuddled thoughtfulness with respect to the issues of the day. Do we need more or fewer citizens who are able to engage that debate? Again, regardless of your political philosophy, I think in many respects we need liberal arts grads more now than ever about liberal arts institutions going forward. If you were responsible for helping an institution like ours prepare itself for the next 50, let alone the next 200 years, you would want to start with so much of what we have here in Chestertown. In one sense, the way we summarize our strategic vision for the college is for the college to look like a top 50 school. So given where we sit in the U.S. News numbers, right, we would take a big jump forward from where we are today. We say look like because given the nature of the way that poll is taken, we could resemble a number of top 50 schools and not yet have that be recognized. And we don't want to necessarily be overly tuned into U.S. News. Yeah. But that said, the shorthand I prefer, which I think captures a lot of what we would hope to do over the next decade, is for Washington College to be bigger, better, and better known. Right? A lot of what we're trying to do in today's enrollment environment is not simply geared toward maintaining a stable student body. We'd like to be a bigger school. Still small, but we believe our student experience and our overall economics would be well served by being slightly bigger. No institution can rest on its laurels. There are a lot of things that we're very proud of, strengths we want to maintain, but there are things that we'd like to do even better. And you don't have to walk too far from where we are here to see the boathouse that will open up here in the fall, our Eastern Shore Food Lab, just a few blocks in the other direction. So there's a lot of programmatic improvements that are certainly underway. In terms of differentiating ourselves, I think it comes down to, first, our faculty. I really think that for decades, this faculty has developed a commitment to the student, not only in class, but outside of class, that is unique. I think our challenge there is to explain that in a way that's compelling, because I fear our words are often the same. But I really believe that what our faculty here do with our students, and our staff as well, really does differentiate ourselves. I think we need to make sure people really understand what's unique about our curriculum and our co-curricular activities, be it in the classroom, in some of the other programs, be it at CES or the Lit House, let alone in athletics. There are a host of opportunities for folks to not only get their college education, right, but to have a whole host of leadership experiences, real leadership experiences, that I think will help them prepare for their lives and certainly their careers. So that's two, and to me, as a potential employer, I think those are pretty important. My freshman year, one of the first events we had was the mayor's reception. And Mayor Horsey was down in his plaid mattress jacket holding court, right? And I just thought at the time that Chestertown and the college were often one and the same. I didn't know enough to think about town/gown, right? Coming on the board, I get the sense that the college and the town had not always been on the same page in recent years. And that's what I think has been so gratifying, is I've spent my time in a leadership capacity getting to know Mayor Serino and others, and really working very closely with the town. So much of what I've been involved in, so much of what we as the college have been involved in, I think of it as much as a town activity as it is a college activity, right? Very proud of what's happening down at the marina. That's not the college's marina, but a vibrant waterfront presence down there is good for Washington College, as it is for Chestertown. So there are just a whole host of things, be it with the town, at the marina, for example, other areas with other nonprofits like Sultana, let alone in the community more broadly, where I think the college can and should be engaged for all the right reasons. And I'm hopeful that just with the accumulation of that experience and with the passage of time, we can really knit those two communities back together as one. We may not always agree, and certainly the college can be a challenging neighbor from time to time. But our futures, Dave, in my opinion, are tightly linked. The college cannot thrive, let alone survive over time, without a healthy Chestertown. And I would dare say that Chestertown needs a strong and vibrant Washington College. Very happy to have had the opportunity to invest in the two buildings formerly known as the Lemon Leaf and JR's. It's been incredible, Dave, just to get the number of inbound calls that we have, is that information has become known from a whole host of people who want to do something in Chestertown, right? And not just necessarily people in the vicinity, but folks in the region who know that Chestertown is a hidden gem and could stand a few good restaurants, let alone a good bar or two.
Yeah.
And the same with Stam's down the street. So these are unlikely to be great investments on the surface, but these are things we're very happy to do as part of that overall effort to try to help the college and help the town. Dave, I'm a big believer in knowing what you're good at doing and what you're not good at doing. I could be a very good patron to a nice bar and restaurant there on High Street, but they will only have my fingerprints on the glasses and the knives and forks. What we want to do is find the right partners who really understand that business, who can deliver on a consistent basis great experiences for the community. And again, it's been really fascinating to talk to a number of people who would like to do that, who see those spaces as attractive, in many ways iconic here in town. And I think folks will be pleased when those doors are reopened. Well, it depends on what you think of in terms of destination dining, right? I think one of the top chefs really in the country that I have talked to said, don't start with that as your objective, because it can, a little bit like U.S. News and World Report at the college, carry with it some unhealthy side effects. So I think what we'd like to do is make it a destination for the community, first and foremost, right? And I think over time, a good restaurant with everything else that Chestertown has to offer will really make Chestertown more of a destination. Stamps is a little further off, and I need to be a little bit more circumspect given the work that's underway. But as the window coverings suggest, that location has a long history of serving great ice cream, and that was a destination for many decades, right? And it's been interesting just on the SPY site to see folks respond to some of those rumors, saying, I have great childhood memories of going to Stam's for ice cream. So that I can confirm that rumor is true. More a 2019 opening, but it won't just be ice cream. And let me leave it there. Well, we have Bill Schindler returning from his sabbatical this fall, and we should be in a position to open up the Eastern Shore Food Lab, hopefully in October. And Bill is world-renowned for all that he does with respect to sustainable food and the history around that. So it's going to be great to see Bill back in Chestertown, but also to see Bill open up that laboratory, both for our students who will have both curricular and extracurricular opportunities to be in there learning from Bill and his team, but also part of the reason, Dave, we wanted to be in town was for it to be accessible to the community as well, right? There's so much. This is a community that is so rich, not only in agriculture, but sustainable food. No reason for that not to be something the college embraces, again, because of our place. And the Eastern Shore Food Lab in October will open its doors. So it's primarily an academic location, but it's in town, and there will be opportunities for folks in the community to come and enjoy some of what they prepare. Bill makes a great pizza. Not as fond of his muskrat stew, but there'll be a whole range of opportunities for folks to see what he's up to. His community programming is going to be extensive over time. But if you think about so much of what we do here, right? This is an experiential education in so many ways. And what will happen in the food lab, not unlike what's going to happen out at Chino Farms, Harry Sears' wonderful gift to Washington College, is we're going to be able to augment in a serious way what we do in a traditional classroom, in a laboratory, in a building. In Bill's case, John Seidel and so many other faculty members in the open air of Chino. It allows our students to really get their hands dirty. And that, not unlike what we were talking about earlier with respect to the case method, really does enrich the learning. But again, I am optimistic. I walk around Bunting Hall and see a president very committed to not only this college, but this community, in Kurt Landgraf. You've run two of the most important stories this summer with respect to the college in some time, the return of Mark Hampton and Susie Chase's appointment. Have on the field here as strong a team as we've had probably since the 80s lacrosse teams that we've had, right? So very exciting in terms of the college leadership as we move forward. Folks that are new, folks that are returning, folks that have been with us for a while, I think are ready to make sure that we are on a sustainable path toward being a top 50 school. And you see that not only what we're doing in the classroom, but with some of the physical structures like the Hodson Boathouse, like the food lab, the River and Field campus, just so many intangible and tangible data points there. Couple that with what's happening in town, be it the marina, some of the things we've talked about. I think it's hard not to be optimistic, but our future's not guaranteed. We're going to have to change. We're going to have to improve. But we don't want to be a poor man's anything. We simply want to be Chestertown, right? And I think for so many of us, that will be enough. But a Chestertown that's strong and sustainable, one that's